Hey! That's how I get myself
You're
up.
so high
Let's
energy,
go.
yes.
So,
Let's go.
we're back with another episode of Just a Tip, and we still have the lovely Ieva from Beyond Berlin, but now we're talking about her other passion, which is running.
Yes.
So running, right off the bat, I want you to give us your tips on getting started with running.
We start with a tip?
Yes, I want a tip now.
Oh my gosh.
Just a tip.
Starting with running.
Just a tip.
Just a tip. Just a tip. Started with running. Enjoy whatever the distance you can make to run. So basically, if it's like 2 or 3 kilometers, try to enjoy them and do not compare yourself with others. That's probably the biggest thing when starting to run. Because I feel like a lot of times people don't want to get into running because they feel so intimidated. Because everyone is running half marathons or like 10Ks, and if you cannot do 10Ks, it's totally fine. Just start where you are. That's all. And just don't compare yourself with others, and try to enjoy what you're doing. If you're not enjoying, you're probably also not breathing properly, so then you're probably being too fast. So I would, these are the tips. Do you run? You go running, right?
I don't like running. I'm being straight up, I don't like running, but I do it because, my whole life as a basketball player, you run like crazy.
A lot. But it's a different kind of running.
Yeah, I enjoy running on the court.
Yes.
Off the court, I sometimes enjoy running because there's a high I do get sometimes, which I enjoy, and there's time for me to think. That's what I use running for, mainly to like clear my mind and think. When I have a lot of things going on, I still have to put things together and categorize them while running. I have a new thing now called expected panorama, which is a whole kind of not psychiatry, but it's a whole other thing that's coming, which is awesome. That kind of allows me to do that now instead of running. So running is something I do maybe once a week, twice if I'm lucky, just to make sure I keep my cardio up, I get my heart pumping, and get my heart moving, pumping. But now I play basketball, they kind of do that for 2 hours. But running got me started out here in fitness. Because of COVID, there was not much to do.
Yeah.
And I was just gaining weight. And I said, okay, I can't be in the house eating and drinking and doing all this shit all the time. So I started to run. And I, even as an ex-athlete, super athletic still, when I started running, the first time I ran was maybe 1K. And I was like, okay, that's horrible.
Solid.
But I did that.
Great start.
I was like, okay, I was so out of shape.
Yeah.
Which is so rare for me to be out of shape, but I was so out of shape that I did 1K. I was like, that's okay. And then every week, I got better.
Yeah.
So after a while, I wouldn't say after a month and a half, I was doing 8Ks with some friends of his family and everything. And that, when I did an 8K, I was like, I'm digging it now, you know?
Yeah.
And after a while, I just got tired of running. So that's when I started doing more fitness stuff. And I went back to my roots of doing sports and activities.
I think it's good to diversify as well.
Yeah.
If you're not like a professional runner, like why do you run every day? You know, you can
I don't believe in running every day.
Yeah.
I think that's
I don't
horrible
think-
for the
I
body.
think so horrible.
Training every day is
Yes.
no good. That was something I want to talk about another time, but I had to tell some clients, I tell them, don't do this.
Yeah.
One lady came to me, she was training 5 days a week, and I got her on Friday, and she was so done by the time I had her. I had to sit down and talk. I was like, what's going on? And she was like, I had every day this week. I was like, you can't do that. No. You are not like a pro. You're not trying. First of all, pros don't do that.
No, exactly.
When you're getting to the pros, you can do that, but you still rest in between. There's still recovery periods. And she's just working. This is going to destroy your body.
Yeah.
So,
also
no,
mentally as well.
don't run every day.
No.
But yes, I agree with you saying you start where you can, because even me, I started 1K.
Exactly.
You know?
And it feels kind of like horrible. You're like, wait,
It was
is
horrible.
this all you can?
It was horrible. Don't get me wrong, it was horrible.
Yeah. This is how I started as well.
Yeah.
Because it was back in school. I was basically quite fast. So I was like the fastest of all the girls. So my teacher would always put me to run with boys.
Yeah.
So I would do this like, track and field, like 60, 100 meters. So that's like the longest distance I've done. And maybe like without a stop, I ran like 400 meters at most. But then she saw me and she was like, yeah, but there's this like trail competition. It's like 1.5 kilometers and it's in 2 weeks. Would you like to do it? And I was like, 1.5 kilometers? Are you joking? It's so long. And I was like, and you don't get a break? She's like, no, you need to run for 1.5. And I was like, that's mad.
Yeah, see?
Anyway, but then I was like, let me just take on this challenge. Anyway, so I came out like, so I did compete, and then I came out second, and I was like, then probably I'm actually not that bad.
Right.
And so then I started from, 400 meters to 1.5 kilometer, and then I reached 5K, and I thought this was it. And I was like 16, I was like, 5 kilometers? And I'm from such a small town. So basically 5 kilometers was all there was of my town. So,
Wow.
I saw everything. And then I reached to the 10K, so I had to like run my at the right time. Yeah, exactly twice. But that's a beautiful thing. And as we talked about like tennis, how hard it is to progress and how hard it is to see how much you've done. In running, you can do 8K by the end of like the month, basically. Yeah, but I also don't believe in running every day because I've gone through myself being like feeling very much burned out from running because I was following like certain plans, or I was like just looking at other people. And it's also another thing about like run clubs and communities, which I love. And at the end of the day, it's amazing because like people are moving, that's just the end goal. But a lot of times there's a group thing, and there's a lot of influence coming from other people, so you don't really understand like what your capabilities are. You just try to follow whatever else is doing, and this is what I was doing as well. And then I started to follow everyone else's plans, and then I was trying to like listen to whoever was like faster or better than me. I was like, okay, then I need to run Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I run to the track, and then I do the track session, and then I run back, and then on Thursday I don't run, and then on Friday I run, Saturday, and then Sunday I do the long run. So by the end of like the training block, I was like, I am so done. Yeah. So then I actually started to introduce like strength sessions, and actually that completely changed the game for me.
And that's what I've been trying to talk to people about.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you're not building muscle or keeping strength, it's so bad.
Yeah, completely. Also, you lose the form. So like at some point when your body gets tired, when you run, you just lose it. Your shoulders drop, your hips are not moving, you get like a runner's hip. So this is what I started to do, and then I was like, okay, then I don't have to run so much, because when your body knows, or when your body is strong enough to maintain and endure like a certain distance, you don't have to run every single day. You just need to make sure that you're strong and you physically are being able to basically run the distance. And then another thing about like long distance running, because I did like halves like multiple times, and the marathon and ultra in the mountains, that was like also really tough on my body. But what I realized is that at some point your mind picks it up, and it doesn't matter whether you run 20 or 30K, you can do it. It's the mental block that you have usually, when your body is really strong. So when also people like train for the marathons, they don't have to do 35 kilometers in my eyes at all, actually. It's more for like the mental wall, because a lot of times people say like, oh, you're gonna hit a wall at some point. I've never hit a wall, actually. So, but also, anyway, long distance training is like a whole different game on its own as well.
I mean, I was never into long distance running. I'm contemplating doing a half marathon. Not sure if I'm gonna do it. I ran so much. I mean, I've been playing sports since at a young age, and we play intense levels for a long time. Especially if you make it, like I made it to Division 1, so you train immensely to get there, because the competition is super high. Coming from New York, everyone is training to be, the best, and to get somewhere, and to get a Division 1 scholarship was so difficult. You're going against the top of the best around you, and they're training every day, 6 days a week, and you're like, okay. So I was not into long distance running at all, but I could always do it. I could always do it because of the mentality you get from training all the time. And I'm Jamaican, yes, I love being Jamaican. It's in my blood. But the mentality you get is from training and being, in a competitive nature all the time. That mentality is great for running, because I have a no-dive mentality. So even when my body's like, I can't go anymore, my mind is like, nope, you have to. There's no choice. And that's when you catch your second wind, right? That's when you kind of, your body kicks in, you're like, oh, I'm fine. But that's what they call the wall. You hit the wall, and I hit the wall. I never hit the wall until I was about 16. I played for one of the most amazing high school coaches in New York, Tim Cruz, love him. he destroyed you on the court. He broke everyone, but I remember he almost broke me. I hit the wall and I was like, oh my God, I can't move right now. And him yelling, and I looked at his face and I was like, I can't let this guy win. Because he's super competitive. Anyone around us is super competitive. We were state champions, so we had to be like a lion. You had to kill and be killed. So he almost broke me. I hit the wall and I was like, no. Something told me like, no. And once I broke through that wall, it was like another level of athleticism that I didn't know existed. And I think running has this capability. There's another part of you that you don't know exists until you break through this wall.
Exactly.
Some people, like you said, you don't have it. You do, but you probably never really hit it yet. You probably didn't go long enough to hit it. You probably have a very long threshold.
Yeah, but I had like other things, you know? I feel like I never had this like mental wall, but I would just break down sometimes. Because all your emotions are like coming out, like everything that's like going on for so long, like long distance running, 2-3 hours. At some point you start feeling a lot of everything. So I feel like when you're saying that running for you is like therapy, or like you start thinking about it, for me not at all. And I feel especially if you're training for something, it's not about like 8K easy run, it's about like doing it for so many hours or so much time repetitively, so nothing around you changes except for maybe like the environment. We're doing the same motion again and again. So I feel I always like running, always kind of like making me myself all the time. Yeah.
See, everyone uses it differently.
Exactly.
I definitely use it to like think. Really think. I use it to think and get my stuff together. And
if you do it for fun, you know?
Yeah, for fun and cardio for sure, but I do.
Exactly.
And I think the run club thing is great. I love it because I never ran in groups. I never did this. And the first time I did it was here at More Life Studio because every Wednesday we have it at 7. And I did it and it was a short run because I had basketball afterwards. It was like 5K. But I liked the way they did it because it was, you talked, you had a conversation, but they stopped at like lights. I don't stop when I run. I don't have this in me to stop. So when the group stopped, I was like, what are we doing here? And they were like, oh, you don't have to stop. And then this is the first time I ever stopped from running, and it was actually like nice because my body kind of recovered quickly, and then I ran again. I was like, oh, I can do this for like a day. I can do this all day. I can stop it and run. And probably run from here to God knows where. Because it never crossed my mind to stop running when I start. When I start running, it's like you stop when you're done, when you get back to where you're supposed to be. I never thought in a million years to stop running.
And a lot of people think completely different to you. They're like, oh, when I'm alone, like no one is holding me accountable, so I might as well just stop and go for a little while.
I'm holding myself accountable. I still hear my coach in my head like, yelling at me, "Will you stop it? Are you kidding me?" You know, I feel like there's still a guy behind me looking to take my spot on the team because he's chasing me down like, I want you to spot. So in my head, I can't stop. But now, again, another thing that Berlin has taught me coming to another country, another culture, society, there's a balance. It's like, okay, you can stop deep, and then you can start again.
Exactly.
How about take a break? You know? You don't have to be 100 miles an hour. So that's, I think that was great to kind of get from a running community. So there is positives in it, but yeah, it's awesome. I think I agree with you. There's always, you start where you start. Right? Start and don't feel anything that you need to be. Something, you know?
Exactly.
So I think that's a great tip to give people.
Yeah, and also I don't know, just like try to be humble because I feel like now it's like all of these races are just literally at your hands. Like, you know, you open your Instagram and you see how your neighbor just did like their first marathon and stuff, and you do think that it's like, oh, it's just there. I can just take it. But this is where the patient needs to come. It's like, okay, I need to be patient with myself because you want to also make sure, also when it comes to long distance, you need to mature to be able to run a certain distance, right? So this a marathon, you shouldn't do it in a year from now if you just started running because it's just not healthy for your knees, it's not healthy for your body in general. So trying to like respect distance that's in front of you, and then trying to be humble and know your limitations as much as you want to reach for the stars. I think it's like this balance is beautiful. and I was trying to do the same, and I never had any like injuries or anything like that because I always was like, I know my limitations, you know. And when I also did my first marathon, like my first thing was like respect the distance because I didn't know how 42 kilometers felt, so I'm just gonna respect that. You know, I'll take 1 kilometer at a time and I'll see how I feel.
I'm not doing 42.
I know, my family's like,
That sounds
yeah, but
horrible.
just to clear this up, you pay money to run a marathon, you pay money just to run.
Nope.
That's it. It's, you're not like chasing the ball, you're literally just running, and I was like, yeah, just like, wow.
One day I might just buckle and do it.
Yeah, but you don't have to.
No, I just, sometimes something hits me and I just
Exactly.
do it.
That's
like,
fine.
when I went skydiving, it was like the day of. I said, you know what, I'm gonna go skydiving.
No way.
So
And
I
you
just
did
did
it
it the
the same
day of,
day.
and I recruited like 6 other people. I said, you guys wanna go skydiving? Yeah, let's go.
Wow, you were so
I was
influential.
like, let's do it, and I just did it. So there might be a day that I just say, you know what, I'm gonna do a marathon.
Yeah, and why not?
Why not? Just do it.
Why not? Exactly.
I might.
And you'd kill it.
Might.
And you'd completely
I
kill
hope
it.
so. I
Yeah.
hope so.
Yeah.
So that's one tip. So what do you, like your training style for running, what do you advise when you're starting? Besides, okay, respect the distance and also don't compare yourself and give yourself time. What do you think is an important thing, or give one good important thing to do before you start?
Running form, actually. Try to. This is the most. Why?
Because when I trained basketball in New York, and form was one of the first things I had to teach people.
Yeah.
In a terrible running form.
Yeah.
And I was not a runner, but I knew how to run, and the form was just amazing that people didn't know how to run.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it's, again, as you said, like there's a lot of load on your body when you run.
Yeah.
And if you want to do it, I don't know, on a daily basis, you want to make sure that you're not going to get like a back pain or your hips. Like, you need to understand that your hips should be moving because a lot of times runners have lazy hips, so they don't engage them in any way. So I feel like if you can find a way how to do the drills before you run, and if do the drills also to just improve your running technique, I think that would be amazing. And then you can do whatever you want because then you can go to Greece, grab your running kicks, and then just run anywhere. That is fine. So I feel like running form 100%. And with all of these also, again, Run Plus, which is amazing, but no one is actually telling you how to do it right. And it's also not like rocket science. It's just some basics, just basics, and that's it. And then it's just good to go, And then you find your style. And not everyone has to run the same way. Most people have like completely different styles, but like for you just to check, so that actually you're mindful of every single your body part. I think that would be great. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you
it.
so much. I mean,
Yeah.
this was something new I learned as well.
Yeah.
here.
What's new?
What's new?
Yeah.
Actually, that you are a runner. Like, I thought you run for fun. I didn't know you were a runner.
I mean, I'm a runner. Now I'm a recreational runner.
Dude, you did marathons, so I was like, okay, I thought she was just, okay, I run. I can show you how to run, but you ran. Like,
And this is how well, Dwayne, that was me. I love this.
listen, I take my time. Okay? I take my time.
Yeah.
So this is good. I'm really happy to have you on the show. I'm
thank you.
honored to have this Lithuanian runner / tennis mogul to be on Just a Tip.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for giving everyone.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see where you're gonna go with all of this, and I know it's just gonna go all the way up. So
Thank you for coming. Have a
Yay.
good day. And also follow us at More Life Berlin.
and Beyond Berlin Club on Instagram.